One reason that kind of stuns me is obviously the information that I got from Christopher Steele, and we'll talk about that, was information the FBI already had. My story is about the FBI's own investigation. So it seems a little odd that they would be citing the Yahoo News story about the matter that they are investigating themselves based on the same material that had been separately presented to the FBI before I was ever briefed by Christopher Steele.
All right, that was Michael Isikoff late last week revealing his shock that the Yahoo News report was used as evidence to justify a FISA warrant against Carter Page. Tonight, the House Intelligence Committee, as we mentioned earlier, voted to release the Democrats' memo. It now goes to the president. Here with reaction to all of this, the man himself. He is the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, Congressman Devin Nunes. You got a great vote of support from the president and frankly from me and anybody that believes in government transparency. And in the lead up to your memo, of sources and methods, and this is dangerous and unprecedented, there was nothing given here that would have hurt our intelligence in any way. Correct, sir?
That's right, Sean, and I think that was Isikoff the tape you just ran, and that is very illuminating because that is absolute now confirmation that we know that Steele was put in front of reporters. You have the reporter himself admitting it. This is big news. I actually caught some of this last week and tweeted it out. But this is what the FBI used to corroborate the dossier, which is very, very dangerous to take political dirt that was paid for by the Hillary campaign and use it against your political opponents, have the FBI use it and open up an investigation.
In the beginning of the memo, and you actually go through that this raises concerns to the legitimacy and legality of certain DOJ, FBI interactions with the FISA court and represent a troubling breakdown of the legal process that was established to protect the American people. So this is what's serious about it. Now, in your memo, you went through great detail to say that in the FISA application and subsequent renewals 4 times, they never informed the FISA court that, in fact, this money really came from the Clinton campaign and the DNC. In other words,
that's right. And more so, they never informed the court that Christopher Steele was meeting with journalists. I think the court would have known that. One of the things that we're going to do this week is we're going to send a letter to the court. We don't know if we'll be successful or not, but we're going to try to ask the court whether or not they will provide the transcripts of the 4 proceedings. It would be very interesting if we could get those transcripts to know exactly what was presented verbally to the court and to see if that was transcribed.
Okay, this is really important here because if they knew, we know it was not verified. As a matter of fact, you even put in your memo that the FBI themselves, they said they were in only the initial stages of verification. So they would present something that was unverified that we know was paid for by one political party to create a warrant against another party during an election and then a president-elect.
Yeah, and I think the bigger problem and challenge here is that the mainstream media is totally uninterested in this. Can you imagine if the shoe was on the other foot and Donald Trump or George Bush or Karl Rove had paid for information and then George W. Bush's FBI had opened an investigation into the Obama campaign because they were talking to Russians, which, by the way, really did happen. The Obama campaign was talking to Russians back in 2008 and opened up a counterintelligence investigation using dirt dug up and paid for by the RNC and George W. Bush supporters. This town would be on fire. Every reporter would be following around Karl Rove and George W. Bush all over town. Yet it's crickets from the media. I mean, it's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. I mean, I'm almost flabbergasted because I thought at least there would be some ounce of credibility left, but there really is none.
And ultimately, Steele, again, unverified. If we look at the memo that came out of Chuck Grassley's committee earlier today, it actually goes on to say that Steele gathered much of his information from Russian government sources inside of Russia. So if I put the 2 memos together, the new one tonight, yours from Friday, Hillary Clinton paid for Russian propaganda, turned out to be lies, not verified, then used for a FISA warrant. And I'm like, not only was it paid for to manipulate and lie to the American people, but then to spy on an opposition party candidate. Sir, are there crimes committed here?
Well, you can't really make this up. I hope the listeners understood what you just said. we have a clear link to Russia. You have a campaign who hired a law firm, who hired Fusion GPS, who hired a foreign agent who went and got information from the Russians on the other campaign. It seems like the counterintelligence investigation should have been opened up against the Hillary campaign when they got a hold of the dossier. But that didn't happen either. So, and you mentioned Senator Grassley. I will have to tell you, Senator Grassley's done a phenomenal job here, Sean. I mean, a lot of people have given myself and my committee a lot of credit for the work that we've dug up. But I can tell you that Senator Grassley has been phenomenal through this whole process, and I think he deserves a lot of credit.
And this guy, Christopher Steele, is a guy that has a desperate. Was desperate that Donald Trump not get elected and was passionate about him not being the president. So he has his own political motivation in all of this.
And Sean, that also was not presented to the court.
Well, I mean, and I know the Democrats are putting it out. My sources are telling me tonight that they don't even question this in the Democratic side, that all they're saying is, well, on the FISA application, there might have been a footnote that said there might be some political tainting, and that's it. They told nothing about Christopher Steele, nothing about being paid for by Clinton. None of this came out to the court. Isn't that deliberately deceiving a court, Congressman?
Well, not only that, but it's the continued obfuscation that the Democrats have continued to do throughout this investigation is leak something out to a press that is basically part of their own team. They run a story that's based on something partially true, and then they come back and accuse us of doctoring up a document. So I just go by the old rule: whatever they accuse you of doing, they're actually doing.
And it's even worse.
Well, we know.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
I was just going to say, part of the reason why we know that we're right is because the relentless attacks on me, Trey Gowdy. I mean, they even go as far in their memo. They attack Trey Gowdy and myself in their memo, and they come to conclusions. And what did they say for 10 days? They said that our memo came to all sorts of conclusions. Our memo didn't come to any conclusions. Our memo just listed facts. And their memo, people will see, they actually come to conclusions and and have personal attacks on myself and Chairman Gowdy. Which is really silly.
It's sort of like them saying, well, you never saw the underlying documents, but only one Republican was allowed to see it. So you sent the lawyer Trey Gowdy, and that's where the information came from. I'm very interested because at the heart of this, you really have Nellie Ohr, Bruce Ohr's wife. If you really get down to the bottom line, she's being paid by the Clinton campaign because she is working for Fusion GPS that is building the dossier against Donald Trump. But I want to ask you about this. Deputy Director McCabe and his testifying before the committee in December 2017 that there would be no warrant without the dossier. Now, my sources have told me that he was asked the question numerous times in varying ways, and Democrats have questioned the authenticity of that or correctness of that. But I was told that his answer is even worse.
Yeah, I would say it's more spin. Okay, this is what they do. They tell a half truth. So we put in a summation of 8 hours of testimony. Trey Gowdy actually interviewed him for 15 hours, and we did a short summation in one sentence. What is the major revelation that we discovered with Mr. McCabe? That is that without the dossier, then they would have never been able to go to the FISA court and get a warrant. That's the point. But we were not going to release executive session transcripts in this. There was no need for it. So we surmised 8 hours trying to keep this very, very small so that we weren't getting into any sources and methods. But anyway, this is going to continue to happen, and we just have to continue to play the game with them. Unfortunately, that they will continue to drop out little pieces of phony information, and we have to try to correct the record.
Well, you said there's about 4 more memos coming. A lot more is coming, correct, sir?
Yeah. So let me on that. So I think there's a little confusion. So we have a broad investigation going into DOJ and FBI for FISA abuse and other matters. This is a very broad investigation looking at a number of different areas. People should not get confused that we're going to do more memos in the sense of the 11G process that we followed here in the House. But we do have an ongoing investigation, which we made public on Friday, into the State Department and some of those abuses, and that's active. And then there's several other stages of our investigation, but the State Department one is coming closer to a conclusion.